This is an overview of the health coach conversation. So when you enter the room, you should knock. You want to sanitize your hands in front of the patient so that they can see that you've sanitized your hands. And you want to identify the patient. So you can say, "Hello, Miss Jones. My name is Nick. Do you have a few minutes to talk?" If they say yes, you can enter the room and sit down next to the patient, shake their hand, look into their eyes, and say, "Hello, Miss Jones. Once again, I'm Nick." And then you can kind of gesture to the other health coaches. We're all volunteer health coaches. How are you? When you're having the conversation, there's 4 parts. You want to find out how someone is. This is the opportunity to really listen. It's completely unscripted. There's no agenda at all. And you want to really shift the direction of conversation that's been happening in the hospital, which has always been from the person entering the room to the patient. So everybody is there to tell the patient something. If they ask the patient a question, it's a closed-ended question. Here's your opportunity to really show this is a different texture of an interaction. This is actually a time where you ask how they're doing, and that's really all you care about. There's no, and then we'll talk about something else. That's really what you're interested in. So to make that clear to a person in the room, you really actually have to wait and listen to their answer and explore their answer. The next part is to ask about a high point that happened to them that week. And then you want to ask them what they're looking forward to in the week ahead. And finally, you want to ask if you can call again on, and then you've already thought in advance what that will be, like Saturday morning, for example. Can I call and talk to you again on Saturday morning next week? So these are 11 principles for what I think is a good health coach. When you go into the room, you should be excited. You should be looking forward to enjoying somebody else. And when you go into the room, you should be thinking, how is this interaction going to be something that they're going to want to have again? When you're talking to the person, you should be relaxed, and you can really actually feel your shoulders not tense up and relax. You can feel your jaw relax. You should use reflections. Reflections are a way of someone knowing that it's their turn again to talk instead of your turn. You should be yourself completely. So there's no role of a health coach, and the more that you're yourself, the more comfortable the interaction can be. You should respond from the gut. So if you feel that something sounds like someone was in pain, you can say, that sounds like you were in a lot of pain. Or, wow, that is so amazing that you have a grandchild on the way. So if you're completely yourself, if you start to believe in your own sort of the importance of your own response to things, that's an important part of the conversation, you'll be able to say things that you really genuinely believe that are that are come across as a moment of connection with you and the patient. You should give genuine praise. So if you think someone is doing something well, or they've been through a lot and they're still optimistic, that's a really good moment to validate that, to say, wow, you are really strong. You are so cool. Those little things that you really believe that are positive can be so different from what they've been hearing that they can kind of shift a person's attitude. You should be extremely comfortable with silence. So there's 2 kinds of silences. There's ones where you own it. So they've told you something and you've just haven't responded. So they're like, what's he thinking right now? That's your silence. That's somebody wondering what the hell you're thinking. When you give somebody silence, it's when you give a reflection. It sounds like you're in a lot of pain. Silence, 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 silence. That's a chance for them to reflect on their own state instead of waiting for you to say something next. And that's an extremely valuable thing, to have somebody in the room who is thinking about what you just said and has nothing else to say but to listen. Tip number 9 is you should listen to what they are saying. If you're in the moment in this conversation, you will be completely relaxed. It does not matter what happens next. You are completely absorbed in what they're telling you, and you're never having to think about what the next sentence is going to be. Number 10 is not steer. So stay in the passenger seat and enjoy the ride. In other words, they get to take you on a journey, they get to drive, and you can enjoy the things that they want to talk about on their terms. If they start talking about their grandchildren, then you start an investigation of their grandchildren and their lineage and their genealogy, then you've taken control of the conversation. Maybe they don't want to tell you their genealogy. Go with them where they take you. Tip number 11 is believe that the patient has the best answer to any question. There's a lot of questions that come up, like how am I going to get better? Why am I in so much pain? And you can just say, so you're in a lot of pain? What do you think you can do to get better? How many people in the room, how many people in that person's hospital say, do you think have asked them what they think? How many doctors or nurses actually thought that the patient might have the best answer to the question they're asking? Probably none. And in fact, they probably do have the best answer. You giving them the opportunity to reflect on what they think the answer is to their question is completely shifts where the their ability to believe that they can overcome their challenges, and it can be pivotal. And lastly, make sure that you're saying that what you're saying and what you're doing in the room takes a back seat to anything else that might be going on. So if there's something beeping going on, don't kind of try to talk over the beeping so you can be heard. Or if they look uncomfortable, don't continue your sentence so that you aren't interrupted. Or if somebody comes in the room or someone has to do something, you want them to know that this is someone has entered the room who is completely able to fit into their lives and be for them what they need without interfering with the other stuff going on and without thinking that what they have to do is more important than the person or people around them. So always let things around you take priority for the patient over the things that you think you need to do. And that's a way to kind of to prove to the person that you are inherently someone who can fit into their lives going forward.